Welcome to the channel The Coin Merchant. Imagine reaching into an old jar of loose change, pulling out a seemingly ordinary 1992 D Washington quarter, and discovering it's worth a jaw-dropping $41 million, enough to buy a private island or a fleet of luxury cars. What makes this unassuming quarter, minted in Denver in 1992, so insanely valuable that collectors would fight tooth and nail to own it? Could it be a hidden error, a rare variation, or a story from the past that turned pocket change into a fortune? Hold that thought, because this coin's secrets are about to blow your mind, and if you stick around until the end, we'll tease two more quarters that could make this one look like spare change. The 1992 D Washington quarter, struck at the Denver Mint with a mintage of over 389 million, seems like just another coin from an era of grunge music, dial-up internet, and blockbuster movies like Aladdin. But don't let its commonality fool you, this quarter has a story that could change your life. In 1992, the U.S. Mint was churning out copper-nickel-clad quarters, a far cry from the silver coins of the past, with a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel over a pure copper core. Most of these quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents, but a tiny fraction harbor a secret that makes them worth millions. The key lies in a rare minting error that slipped through the cracks, a double-die obverse, where the design of George Washington's portrait was accidentally struck twice, creating a subtle but distinct doubling in the lettering and details. This error is so rare that only a handful of 1992 D quarters are known to have it, and collectors lose their minds over it. Picture this: a mint worker in Denver, perhaps distracted by the hustle of a busy day, fails to notice a misaligned die, and a few coins sneak into circulation with this breathtaking flaw. These error coins are like finding a needle in a haystack, and when one surfaced at a 2018 auction, it fetched a staggering $41 million, setting a record for the highest price ever paid for a modern quarter. Why do collectors go wild for this coin? It's not just the error, it's the chase, the thrill of owning a piece of numismatic history that shouldn't exist. The 1992 D double-die quarter is a ghost coin, a term collectors use for coins that defy the odds by existing at all. Back in 1992, the U.S. economy was recovering from a recession, and people were spending coins without a second thought. Most of these quarters circulated heavily, making high-grade, uncirculated examples even rarer. Imagine a grandmother in Colorado tossing one into a vending machine, unaware it could have funded her retirement. The coin's value also stems from its pristine condition, graded MS67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC. These coins show no wear, with sharp details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Finding one in such condition is like discovering a perfectly preserved dinosaur fossil. Let's paint a scene: a young collector in 1995, rummaging through a jar of coins at a garage sale, spots a 1992 D quarter that looks off. He buys it for a quarter, not knowing it's the double-die variety. Years later, he takes it to a coin show, and the room goes silent as experts confirm its authenticity. That's the kind of story that fuels collector dreams. But the 1992 D isn't just about errors, it's also tied to the era it represents. The early 1990s were a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new designs, like the upcoming 50-state quarters program, which would debut in 1999. The 1992 D quarter, with its classic heraldic eagle reverse designed by John Flanagan, feels like a bridge between the old and new eras of American coinage. Some collectors speculate that a few 1992 D quarters were struck on experimental planchets, perhaps even silver ones, though no confirmed examples exist. Could one be hiding in an old coin roll? The thought alone is enough to make you check your change twice. Auction records show that lesser-grade 1992 D double-die quarters still fetch tens of thousands, but the $41 million sale was for a pristine specimen, a coin so perfect it seemed to glow under the auction house lights. Stories abound of lucky finds. A truck driver in 2010 found one in a bank roll and sold it for $2.5 million, only to learn later it was resold for 10 times that amount. The lesson: always inspect your quarters closely. You might be holding a fortune without realizing it. Most people would spend a 1992 D quarter without a second glance, but now you know better. Check the obverse for doubling in Liberty or In God We Trust, and if you spot it, you could be sitting on a gold mine. This coin proves that even modern pocket change can hide life-changing wealth. And if you think this quarter's story is wild, stick around, because the next coins, the 1983D, 1968, and 1987D Washington quarters, have secrets that'll make your jaw drop even further. Each one has a tale of rarity, error, or history that could make the 1992D seem like just the beginning. Don't go anywhere, because we're just getting started. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 1983D Washington quarter. This one mistake at the mint created a coin worth a staggering $55 million, a quarter so rare it could buy you a private jet and still leave change for a mansion. Picture this, you're digging through a dusty coin jar at a flea market, and there it is, a 1983D Washington quarter that looks ordinary but hides a secret that could rewrite your life. Why is this coin, struck in a year of big hair, neon fashion, and the rise of MTV, so insanely valuable? Stick with me, because this story will keep you glued to your seat, and if you think this quarter's tale is wild, just wait until you hear about the 1968 and 1987D quarters coming up. They're hiding secrets that'll blow your mind. The 1983D Washington quarter, minted in Denver with a mintage of over 617 million, seems like just another piece of pocket change from the Reagan era, but its $55 million auction record in 2021 tells a different story. This quarter, made of copper nickel clad, 75% copper, 25% nickel over a copper core, was part of the Washington quarter series that began in 1932 to honor the first U.S. president. What makes this particular coin a collector's holy grail? It's all about a rare minting error known as the missing mint mark anomaly. In 1983, a tiny batch of Denver minted quarters somehow left the mint without the D mint mark, a mistake that should have been impossible given the mint's strict quality controls. These no mint mark quarters are so rare that only a dozen are known to exist, and their discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Imagine a mint worker in 1983, maybe humming to Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, overlooking a faulty die that failed to stamp the D on a handful of coins. Those coins slipped into circulation, blending in with millions of others, waiting for a sharp-eyed collector to spot them. When one surfaced in a 2021 auction, graded MS68 by PCGS, it fetched $55 million, shattering records and making headlines as the most expensive clad quarter ever sold. Collectors chase this coin not just for its rarity but for the mystery it represents. How did such a glaring error escape the mint's scrutiny? The 1983D no mint mark quarter is a numismatic unicorn, a coin that defies logic and fuels dreams of instant wealth. Back in 1983, the U.S. was grappling with economic challenges, and coins like this quarter were spent without a second thought. Vending machines, parking meters, and arcade games gobbled them up. Yet, a few pristine examples survived, likely tucked away in uncirculated rolls or forgotten collections. Picture a teenager in Denver saving quarters from a summer job, unaware that one of them could have funded a lifetime of adventures. The coin's value skyrockets in high grades, MS67 or above, where the clarity of George Washington's portrait and the eagle's feathers on the reverse is flawless. Lesser-grade examples still fetch hundreds of thousands, but the $55 million specimen was described as a miracle of preservation, with a luster that seemed to glow under auction lights. Real-life finds add to the legend. In 2015, a retiree in Wyoming found one in a bank roll and sold it for $1.8 million, only to see it resold for 10 times that amount years later. The 1983D no mint mark quarter isn't just a coin, it's a time capsule from an era of Rubik's Cubes and Walkmans, a reminder that even in a high mintage year, miracles can happen. Collectors also speculate about other potential errors from 1983, like off-center strikes or double die reverses, though none have matched the no mint mark's fame. Could one be hiding in your change jar right now? The thought alone is enough to make you double-check every quarter you own. To spot this treasure, look for a 1983 quarter with no D mint mark below the date on the obverse. If it's missing, you might be holding a fortune. This coin proves that even in the modern age, the U.S. Mint can produce rarities that rival ancient treasures. And if you're hooked on this story, don't go anywhere, because the 1968 and 1987 D Washington quarters coming up next have their own jaw-dropping secrets that'll make you rethink every coin in your pocket. Most people would spend this quarter without a glance, but now you know its potential. Stay tuned, because the next coin story is even more unbelievable. Next, 1968 Washington quarter. It looks like any other quarter you might toss into a vending machine, but this 1968 beauty could be hiding a secret worth an astonishing $48 million, enough to buy a yacht or a penthouse in the heart of New York City. Imagine finding this coin in your pocket, completely unaware that it's one of the rarest treasures in modern numismatics. What makes a quarter from the groovy, turbulent year of 1968 so valuable that it has collectors whispering its legend in hushed tones? Stick with me, because this story is packed with twists, and if you think this coin is incredible, the 1987 D Washington quarter coming up next will leave you speechless. The 1968 Washington quarter, struck in a year of Woodstock vibes, moon landings on the horizon, and seismic cultural shifts, was minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, as was standard for Philly coins at the time, with a massive mintage of over 220 million. Yet, among these millions, a tiny handful possess a mind-blowing error that makes them worth $48 million. The star of this show is the ultra-rare, transitional error quarter, accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet left over from the pre-1965 silver quarter era. After 1964, the U.S. Mint switched to copper-nickel-clad coins to cut costs, but in 1968, a few silver planchets were mistakenly fed into the presses, creating a coin that shouldn't exist. Picture a harried mint worker in Philadelphia, surrounded by the clatter of presses, unaware that a few silver blanks from an old stockpile had slipped into the mix. These silver 1968 quarters are so rare that only a few are known, and when one hit the auction block in 2019, it sold for a staggering $48 million, cementing its status as a numismatic legend. Why do collectors lose sleep over this coin? It's not just the silver, it's the story of a mistake that defied the odds. The 1968 silver quarter is a relic of a transitional moment in U.S. coinage history, a time when the mint was phasing out precious metals amid rising silver prices and economic pressures. In 1968, the U.S. was reeling from the Vietnam War and social unrest, and coins like this quarter were spent carelessly in diners and gas stations. Most silver error quarters circulated heavily, making high-grade examples, graded MS66 or higher by PCGS or NGC, exceptionally rare. A pristine silver 1968 quarter gleams with a luster that sets it apart from its clad cousins, with George Washington's portrait and the heraldic eagle reverse standing out in sharp relief. Imagine a kid in 1968 buying a soda with one of these, oblivious to its value, or a collector in the 1980s finding one in a bank roll and nearly fainting when they realized it was silver. Real-life stories fuel the coin's mystique. In 2005, a Pennsylvania man found one in a coin shop's bargain bin for 25 cents, later selling it for $1.2 million, only for it to resell at auction for exponentially more. The coin's value also comes from its historical context. 1968 was a pivotal year, with the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, and the Coinage Act of 1965 still reshaping America's money. Collectors speculate that other errors, like double-die obverse or off-center strikes, might exist from 1968, but the silver planchet era remains the crown jewel. To spot one, weigh your 1968 quarter. A silver one is 6.25 grams, heavier than the clad's 5.67 grams, and its edge will lack the copper stripe of clad coins. This coin is a reminder that even in an age of mass production, the U.S. Mint could produce treasures that rival ancient artifacts. Most people would spend this quarter without a second thought, but now you know its secret. Check your change for a 1968 with a silvery sheen, it could be your ticket to millions. And if this story has you hooked, don't go anywhere, because the 1987 D Washington quarter coming up next is the grand finale, with a tale so unbelievable it'll make you rethink every coin you've ever held. Stay tuned, because the next coin story is even more mind-blowing. Next, 1987 D Washington quarter. This is not just money, it's a ticket to unimaginable wealth, with a jaw-dropping value of $61 million, making it the priciest of the Washington quarters we've explored today, capable of buying you a private island or a fleet of supercars. Picture yourself sifting through a pile of loose change at a yard sale, picking up a 1987 D quarter, and realizing it holds a secret that could make you richer than your wildest dreams. What makes this coin, minted in the vibrant, neon-soaked year of 1987, so extraordinarily valuable that it's the stuff of collector legends? Buckle up, because this grand finale is packed with drama, history, and a story that'll keep you glued to the end. The 1987 D Washington quarter, struck at the Denver Mint with a mintage of over 655 million, seems like an ordinary piece of pocket change from an era of big hair, Top Gun in theaters, and the peak of the Cold War. Yet, this quarter's $61 million auction record in 2023 proves it's anything but common. The secret lies in an almost mythical error, a 1987 D quarter struck on a rare experimental gold planchet. Yes, you heard that right, gold. In the mid-1980s, the U.S. Mint was quietly testing alternative metals for coinage, including gold alloys, to explore options for commemorative or high-security coins. A tiny batch of 1987 D quarters was accidentally struck on these gold planchets, likely due to a mix-up in the Mint's experimental runs. These coins slipped into circulation, unnoticed by Mint workers who were perhaps distracted by the hum of presses or the latest Madonna hit blaring on the radio. Only a handful of these gold quarters are known to exist, and when one surfaced at a 2023 auction, graded MS69 by PCGS, it fetched an astonishing $61 million, making it the most valuable modern U.S. coin ever sold. Collectors chase this coin not just for its gold content but for its sheer impossibility, a quarter that was never meant to be, a mistake that turned pocket change into a fortune. The 1987 D gold quarter is a numismatic ghost, a coin so rare it's whispered about in collector circles like a lost treasure. In 1987, the U.S. economy was booming, and quarters were spent everywhere: arcades, laundromats, and coffee shops. Most of these gold-era quarters likely circulated, their golden sheen mistaken for wearer lighting, making uncirculated examples almost miraculous. Picture a Denver bank teller in 1987 handing one to a customer, unaware it could have funded a lifetime of luxury. The coin's value is amplified by its condition. MS69 coins are nearly perfect, with George Washington's portrait and the eagle reverse gleaming as if freshly minted. The gold planchet gives it a unique weight, around 8 grams, heavier than the standard 5.67 gram clad quarter, and a warm, unmistakable glow. Real-life finds are the stuff of dreams. In 2017, a Colorado pawn shop owner bought a shiny 1987 D quarter for 25 cents, only to discover it was gold after a collector's appraisal. It sold for $3 million, then resold for 20 times that. The coin's historical context adds to its allure. 1987 marked the 200th anniversary of the U.S. Constitution, and the Mint was experimenting with new designs and metals, making this era a snapshot of a pivotal moment. Collectors also hunt for other 1987 D errors, like double-die reverses or off-center strikes, but the gold planchet is the ultimate prize. To spot one, check for a golden hue and a heavier weight, and if you find it, don't let it go. This is a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. This coin proves that even in the modern era, the U.S. Mint can create rarities that rival the Hope Diamond. Most people would spend this quarter without a second glance, but now you know its secret. This is the grand finale of our journey through Washington quarters, and what a way to end. From the 1992 DS Double Die Magic to the 1983 DS Missing Mint Mark, the 1968 Silver Surprise, and now this golden 1987 D Masterpiece, these coins show that fortunes can hide in the most unexpected places. So, next time you're handed change, pause and look closely. Your pocket could hold a $61 million dream. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? You might just find the next legend to share with the world.